Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we have the Master Grade 1 to 100 Super Gundam. Now, of course, with this being not the Gundam Mark II, but the Super Gundam, this guy is not alone. He has a little bit of help here. Now, first and foremost, we're going to go into, I guess, colors, and articulation will follow. We're going to first start off with the Gundam Mark II here. Now, it has stickers for the top camera and the eyes. Another one for the back there. Then it has some stickers there for the feet here for this coloration. One fell off. This is a super old kit for those of you who don't know. So, yeah, quality here is not going to be too crazy. For example, there's that seam on the head here, which you mostly only see in high grades now. I did color in the slats in the mouth there, as well as those little rectangular triangle type pieces there for the front of the head. But besides that, I didn't really line this thing or anything like that. I didn't really feel the need to, I guess you'd say. But next we're going to go into colors for this thing here. This thing is very sticker heavy. You can see it has some here for the little, whatever the heck these are supposed to be. The wings here too. And I believe that actually is it. Could be wrong. I did, oh yeah, no, wait, there's some like holographic yellow stickers there for the nose, I guess you'd say. Some metallic red ones here for these little inserts. And I color in some things like the little exhaust there. And, oops, in the front there too, just to make those pop a little bit. As well as the missiles and the little bay here. I didn't have a bright red, so I did the best I could with what I had on hand. But yeah, articulation for the Gundam itself here first. So the head is on a ball joint, go up and down, no wiggle there at all. 360, no problem. The little binder wing thingies here, whatever you want to call these can move up and down. It actually has like this little holes here, supposed to plug these into, but this kind of came out a little bit. Actually, there's supposed to be a piece in there. This one, no, it must kind of fell in a little bit. Actually, I didn't notice that. But it's like a mesh type of thing here that the hoses are made out of. No articulation of thruster. This back armor here is static, does not move. The waist armor does move a little bit. It's like on a peg, so it wiggles a little bit there. You might want to be careful with it. This is the most it can move the legs out, so no splits whatsoever. Legs can move up, but they're hindered by the front armor a bit. Back, about here. Again, kind of hampered by the armor. Awful leg bend. This is literally like, what, a 90-degree bend. The toes can move up like this, so that's good for aerial poses, but I think it's more so for like transformation and whatnot. The little ankle on guard here can move a little bit. It does have some decent wiggle. You see some pistons there, so that's good. Also, I'm going to say that this is like the start of like the inner frame for the master grade, so I think I could take the armor off decently. Yeah, so as you can see, there's some detail in there they have going on, so that's pretty cool. Probably want to stop there though, but besides that, I think that's more or less all we did for the all it has for the legs. Arms, 360. Does have this nice movement here. I don't know why it's so movable, but I mean, it's cool. Arms can move out about here. Does surprisingly have perfect arm bend, which is not bad for how old this thing is, but besides that, nothing too crazy with the arms. It's on a ball joint, of course. I could wiggle 360 or all that. So next we're gonna go on to the G defensor here. So the wings here go up here. That's about it. This little thruster here, move around, wiggle. It's like with this peg ball joint type thing. This here can move, but that's more so for the transformation. These binders here are pretty cool. They can move around quite a bit. So there's a wide range of articulation from that. These little fins here can move a little bit here and there. Same for the bottom ones. Actually, these can go up. Well, actually, I don't think it's supposed to go up like that. Yeah, this one doesn't do it. So I think something's just loose in there. This little piece here can also move, but again, most of this is like for the transformation, I believe. I think that's about it for articulation this day. So we're actually gonna go on to accessories now. So first and foremost, as you can see here, we have a closed fist and open fist in the on the Gundam right now. So of course there are 2 extras for that. I personally don't really use stuff like this on my kits, especially as seeing as this is a older kit. If I'm not mistaken, this might have been one of the first, well no, I guess you say it's like the first 20 master grades they made. But it has a 3rd set of hands, and that's the old school 3-1 thumbs. So of course the thumb, wide range of articulation there, the trigger finger here and there, and the other 3 just connected. So you can put those on in. And then we're gonna go off to accessories. So first off, I wanna mention the beam sabers here. If you guys notice, these kind of open out like that, so it's easier for it to grab, which has no problem doing if you're curious. So no problem doing pulls like this. However, one thing I also want to mention, this arm here is in a peg, but it's very loose, so that'll wiggle out a lot on me. But same for the beam sabers. They don't quite want to stay flush in there. You always find they'll fall off. But geesh, I try to avoid this, and yet it still shows itself. For some reason, they decided to separate the beam saber into 2 pieces here. I don't know why. I don't understand why they couldn't just mold it in one solid piece, but I even tried to put these in very loosely and that still came out. So I don't know why I haven't done this yet, but when you get it, okay. If you decide to pick this thing up, you definitely want to glue these in together to save yourself the frustration of them falling out. So again, this is an old kit. So these are the original beam sabers that, or beam blades that came with master grades. And they still do reprints of older kits like this, believe it or not, but they actually discontinued these beams. You will not see this on a reprint of an older master grade anymore. They actually start repackaging them with the current pink beams. Apparently the excuse for not reprinting these is the mold for these is done, it's dead. They've used it so much. I'm guessing maybe used older technology, because these are like freaking 10, 20 years their cells and they still use them. But they don't use these anymore. And one very disappointing thing about this kit is these are the beams that are supposed to, you know, this thing's supposed to be made for. And it doesn't come in at all. Same for the new ones, obviously. Well, actually, no, this one actually surprisingly holds in decently. Again, decently. Not perfect, but you know, the new ones hold in better than the old ones, so that's weird. I don't understand how that works, but nonetheless, I'm gonna put that in there and put that in the hand. So it can hold it, it's just, of course, you're gonna have to be very careful with the poses you try to put this thing in with those beams. As you can see there, the hands are very loose, as again, this is an older kit, so there's no pegs or anything to keep them in place. So again, it can hold the beams, but you gotta be very ginger with them or they will fall out like you just seen there. So we're gonna put those back in. I'm not gonna put them in too tightly, as I said before, but at least we'll try to mount them in so they stay. There we go. So next accessory here is the Vulcan pod here. So it has a little antenna here that moves around. And this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now, is not good at all. I mean, I can maybe try taking off the head here. Maybe that will help, but it has like these little grooves on the head you're supposed to put this thing into. But this thing falls off a lot, and personally, I do not find that these grooves help at all with keeping this thing in, but I don't think I ever really put the Vulcan pods in like so we'll see. If the beam saber came out again, I'm gonna have to really put that one in. Which I hate doing it because it's a pain getting them out, and it's on that little tiny peg. I'm afraid that thing will break. But there we go. So yeah, it stays in decent like this, but this thing really hampers the movement to the point I don't want to touch this thing. So if I do, it's going to fall out. I know it. Like, look at that. I try to put it in the peg and the head's moving without the Vulcan, so it looks cool with the Vulcans in it. The Vulcan pods are always my favorite thing about the Gundam Mark II, but yeah, they're not my favorite on this master grade. So it has a shield here, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it has these additional clips for the you-know-what that are mounted into the shield here. So you can get those off, both of them. As you can see, there's like this little peg there that gets them in there. Oh, got a better job showing it off. So you can see the little insides of it. And I'm gonna go show off the beam rifle real quick as well. As you can see, this has this little tab or whatever you can use to hold it. And it does have another clip here that, of course, you can't take off, but it's in there just as good as it was in the shield. Sheesh. I know it can come off, I can see it wiggling. Oof. Yeah, see, this thing is on here good. I wish the Vulcan pods were on there that good. You have to fight this thing to get it out. I feel like I'm gonna break this thing trying to get it out. Come on. Well, I mean, you see it wiggling, so take my word for it, I can come out. I don't want to break this thing trying to do it, but I guess we'll put the beam rifle in first, so. Oop, the hand popped out. But yeah. So holds the beam rifle decent. I kind of give it kudos to that little tab, to the hand being able to fit into that notch a bit. And for you who are curious, if you can get it going, you can have it. What just fell off? Oh, some piece on the arm, I think. I don't know what fell off. Anyway. You finesse it enough, you can get it to hold it in there, but again, this is kind of a testament to how bad the articulation was on the older kits. Like, yeah, and then things are falling off, but no. Yeah, we're not gonna fool around with that, but yeah, if you can finesse it, you can hold it in there. So moving on to the shield, it's that tab here, put into a little hard point in the arm, and it can hold the shield, unfortunately only in this one pose, so you're only gonna have it out to the side. We're gonna have to move it up like so for some sort of blocking pose. Also want to mention the shield, besides the fact it's like solid, this isn't on a track, it doesn't have anything that shows off the grenade launchers this thing's supposed to have on its arm there. Also has a little hole there. There's some stickers there for that. But this thing actually has a mechanic where you can collapse the shield. As you see, it's on this little track. You slide that, and there's just 2 tabs, and you just line up the other tab there to collapse the shield. So this is like the collapse mode. Usually had it on during its confrontations on Earth. But one problem I find with the shield is that it wants to fall apart when you have it collapsed. It seems to be holding now, because of course these things love making me a liar, but a lot of times I had this thing posed, this thing would usually fall off. I don't know what I did right this time around for it to stay on, but you know what, I won't complain. So we go and move on to our final accessory, the bazooka. I think there actually might have been a second one of these, but I'm not sure, because this thing can come out. I forget what this is for. Oh, that's right. This thing definitely had more of them, because you're supposed to be able to clip them on a side like this. I don't know where the other ones are, but yeah. It's funny to say, I was like playing around with this, and I'm like, why does this move? That's why. So, you of course can put the bazooka in the hand, and I'm sure you can tell by the shoddy coloring job. This thing's more than just gray. I tried to color it a little bit white, but it did not come out right. And geez, that did not hold on at all, but unfortunately, you can only hold the bazooka in under the arm. You can't really hold it over the shoulder, as you can see here. It does not fit in the hand very well at all, because it doesn't move. Yeah, so if you were hoping to put it over the shoulder, you're good luck with that. But whenever you're done with the bazooka, you can also put it on this little piece here on the back. Does not feel very secure, but I mean, it's there. But moving on to the main reason why you'd want this version, especially when there is a 2.0 out that is, I'm sure, leaps and bounds better than this thing. I don't have it, so I couldn't tell you. But first of all, you're gonna take the shit out there. And what you are going to do is, I mean, this is part of articulation, but I just want to show off. You can open up both these little missile pods here and the cockpit hatch too. I probably need some tweezers for it, but so yeah. Show that off camera, this thing's so low, my bad. But yeah, you can open the cockpit hatch and there's a little pilot figure that's very awfully detailed. I tried to color in with green, but it did not come out so well. And same for this cockpit, actually, almost forgot. This one can open as well. So there's a pilot figure in there, but it's very deep in there. It's always so dark in a cockpit, you can always barely tell what's going on in there, but trust me, there is a cockpit figure. So what you do for the transformation is, oh, I almost forgot. There's also like this little landing gear type, jeez, I keep showing everything off camera. There's also like this little landing gear here you have, so, oh, and this little piece here opens up as well, but anyway. So we're gonna close that back up, and what you do is there's this little tab, if you see that there. So you kind of plug that into that tab in there. Can line that up, there we go. And then you pull that over this little piece there. And then you fold up the feet there. I believe actually you're supposed to have it like this. But so this is supposed to be what is called the G-Flyer. So this is like kind of like this little combined form of the two. The Vulcan pod, of course, came out, but you can also do, of course, to convert into the Super Gundam. Fold that up like so. And oh, I almost forgot. It actually has this giant rifle. You're supposed to, I'll show it off in a second, but I always have issues with this, but yeah, take this thing off. Oh, it actually came out easier than it usually does, but yeah, now you have the core fighter here. And this thing is doing a limbo. Sheesh. So you can already see how back heavy this thing gets with it. So you kind of got to brace it a bit to get it to stand. And you can already, like, you could just see it sinking under the weight of this thing. It's obviously, the Gundam Mark II came first and they added this thing on second. So, I mean, look at it. And that's one thing, the feet are kind of so over-engineered for this thing. It's like, it only makes it looser, but yeah, look at that. Yeah, it doesn't want to stand up. But yeah, you can do a very wide range of movement with the core fighter. So we're gonna throw that to the side there for a second. Oh boy, that thing. And a lot of these pieces don't stay on very well too, I want to mention. But oh, you also collapse this piece down, by the way. But yeah. I also think I might not have put this on very well. That usually doesn't come off that easy. Make sure it's on a little better. There we go. But yeah, if I could get this thing in a decent pose where it'll stand up, that'd be good. So again, this thing's so back heavy. And this one I had a while ago. If you guys see my unboxing, you know. But this thing's definitely loosened up over time a lot. So it has these little tabs here that move. I have this thing way too close to the camera. But also has this little piece there that for the hand, of course. I have not had these hands pop out as much as they have now. I don't understand why they're popping out like this. But you can hold the rifle here in the hand. Problem is, again, with this, it's so awkward to do because you kind of gotta underhand it into this. You're fighting with the binders to even get it in, so it's just like a big pain. But you can get it to hold it, although very awkwardly. And all you can really do is have it hold it in that one pose there. You can't even really have any kind of shooting pose, just kind of standing with it, looking intimidating. And it's just like, again, the binders pop out. That one's to fall off. And did something, oh, slid down the track. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, this thing has a kind of a track, so these move up and down, but yeah. So, I mean, as you can see, I mean, yeah, it looks cool and all that, but this thing is like the original brick kit. I can't even call it a brick, really. I mean, it's not sturdy. Bricks are usually sturdy, right? This thing's not sturdy at all. It can't really stand up. It's just with the Super Gundam itself, the main reason why you buy this thing, you know, is less than impressive. And again, it's just like a super old kit, so you can't really do much with it. Again, not to mention, I wanted to show this off. There's a little a tab there you pull out, and then you're supposed to mount it in this little piece there for the G defender itself, but there you go. So, I mean, we're gonna move on to some size comparisons. So we're gonna go off to a taller suit here. So you get a little bit of a size comparison there. Its predecessor here, the Unit 1. So you see those two are about the same size. But closing thoughts. It's cool and all to have a Super Gundam in 1/100 form with the G Defensor and all that, but as you can see, this is a super duper old kit, so it fails to a lot of shortcomings of older kits. Bad articulation, bad build and finish. Colorations leave much to be desired. I mean, it was a simple, easy build, of course, but again, it's just, I honestly am glad they made a 2.0 of this thing. I just wish they added a G Defensor to it too. I'm surprised there's no P Bandai variant of anything, of any kind with it, but I'd say if you wanted this thing for a 1/100 Super Gundam, I honestly couldn't even recommend it. I almost wanted to recommend it because I got an Action Base 4 and I helped do some more aerial poses with it, but just like trying to review this thing and playing around with it more than I usually do, it's like, man, I didn't realize this thing could barely stand and hold its accessories and whatnot. Like, I usually don't have troubles when I did put this thing in pose and whatnot, but I don't know why it's giving me so much more trouble than usual. But I know there's a high grade version of the Super Gundam out, and ironically, I think they started reprinting it recently too, but maybe that might be a bit better because the high grades are usually pretty solid. But yeah, again, I said it in a lot of other reviews, and I'll say it again. Generally, you want to stay away from any master grade that was put out before around 2006. You want to go for things from 2006 and better. I see even with my gun cannon review, the gun cannon was, I think it was one of the kind of Hall of Famers for master grades. So that's where Gunpla started to really get good, especially for the master grade line. Especially it kind of peaked at the G Fighter kits there for the, you know, the God Gundam, Master Gundam, all those. Those ones are great, but again, everything before those, they're bad. Just can barely stand. You can't do anything with them. Things fall off very well. This one's not as bad. I'm gonna try to get around to him next. This thing here, oh boy, he's gonna be a doozy. Wait till I get on to reviewing him. I'm amazed he even could stand up for this review and whatnot. But again, I thank you guys so much for watching this. This is Rare Model Reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next review, which hopefully, I mean, if I review him, yes, it's probably not gonna end very well. Spoiler right there. But have a good one, everyone.